Oh, yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So, hello. Mint and I are doing a Q&A. We asked you all to ask questions on our Instagrams. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're hanging out in a cemetery in this beautiful spring day. So I'm very excited. I'll be taking so many photos here.
Yeah.
It's a really, really gorgeous.
It is. It's lovely.
Yeah, and we're going to try to make this Q&A fast enough to the point that we do not get caught by the people doing gardening and landscaping out here. So we'll do our best. We will do our best. I also have a donut and we have some coffee. So I'm set and I'm ready.
We're rearing to go. Okay, I've got a ton of questions.
Okay, what's the first one? I'm glad that you can see.
Yeah. Okay, how do I know if a deity is reaching out to me?
I don't know. I don't work with deities. So that's not a question for me.
Okay, well, I can give you a little. One of the biggest things is signs. You know, you'll have signs that are coming to you from all over the place. You'll see things that refer to that deity. You'll see things that are sacred to them. They'll pop up for you all around. Like, say you are thinking of working with Artemis, or Artemis is reaching out to you. So protection of animals is really important to Artemis. So things like that might be coming up for you at work or at home, or protection of women and children, that might also be coming up for you. It might be something that you are working toward. Symbolism like archery or hunting, or lots of moon symbolism could be like extra popping into your world or into your life. Even just the names of the deities can be popping up a lot. So just having a lot of associations like that will make you go, okay, who's like reaching out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would assume it's anything, it's like similar to spirits reaching out.
Yeah.
Like there's like a lot of similar correlations, or like really, really, really random and niche things
stuff.
happening.
Yeah, niche stuff.
That you're like, that's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would assume that it's similar to that.
Yeah, it is. It's very similar to that.
Is there a bucket list place either of you would love to do a ritual, like a national park or somewhere?
Like, I have a semi-vague sort of answer. Like, I definitely want to go forest bathing in Japan. Like, that's a huge thing that I want to do. I want like a full diagnosis, and I want to do ritual in a forest in Japan. I don't know which forest. I don't know where. You know, but I know that that's where I want to do it.
I don't know about a ritual, because it's like I don't really know like what kind of ritual I would do. Like I'm really like specific about those things, but I would totally just like hang out and meditate and experience. So like if you count that as a ritual, sure. Maybe like Stonehenge. I just feel like something about that would be really weird. Like you would sit there and you just, I don't know, there's just so much going on that you'd be like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's like wom, wom. Yeah. I'm into that.
So I think Stonehenge would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let me see what my questions
are.
are.
See what you got.
Oh, I like this. What do you admire about each other's practices?
Oh, that's a great one. Really, yeah. Okay, I admire your practice in general. I admire your closeness to your spirituality, and your closeness to your culture, and the closeness to death that you can, the proximity in which you can be to it is very admirable to me, because it's like so scary to me. Yeah, even just like a year ago, I wouldn't be able to sit in the cemetery.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, without having a panic attack or just like crying.
Wow. It's crazy to hear other people's like experiences with that, because it's like cemeteries have always been a place that, like, if I'm like stressed or freaking out, like that's the first place I want to go. Like I want to go and sit with the dead, and because they're quiet, they're good listeners. There's usually never anybody around. They're usually beautiful spaces. So like, it's like the one place that I'm like, I can actually just like hear my own thoughts and just like rest.
Wow.
Where, like it's, I have met a lot of people that it's like,
you know?
I think what I love how creative you are in your practice. Like, and not even just in your practice, but like, just like in your life, like you're just everything. So even in the bathroom, I was like looking at the, you have two paintings that I assume you bought. That like have, it's just like they look like gold marble or something.
The frog.
And then like I can tell that you had painted this little frog reaching to the sun. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I with the sun.
I just love that like you have, like it's just very it reminds me a lot of like my aunt, like one of my aunts. She's a painter, and so she like always has this thing where she's just like, oh, why not? You know, like it's very very like, why not? Like I feel like you don't have like a lot of boundaries for yourself, and I think that's something that is really good to learn as a practitioner, of just like getting out of your head of like all these boundaries that you set for yourself and that other people set for you. Like your practices are going to be so wildly different. It doesn't matter. Well, this one's from Marshall.
Okay.
He says, both Olivia and Mint have such unique aesthetics. What are y'all's inspirations?
Ooh.
Oh, and then Marshall has another question about being on the A spectrum.
Oh.
So, okay, we are both on the A spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. Damn. What inspires me the most, I think, when it comes to aesthetics in general, I'm so inspired by fairy tales and by the forest. I'm inspired by the fact that fairy tales and times that are similar to those in fairy tales of old they take place in the forest. Like your cabin, your cottage is in the forest, unless you're like rich and live in a castle or whatever. But you know, you live in this cute little forest area and you commune with nature and you commune with the animals around you, and that always inspired me. And the fact that like clothing wasn't something that you like threw away, or that you just went to the market and just got a couple of tops or whatever. Like you made your own clothing, and so there were things with patches on them, you know, because like your stuff got messed up. Yeah, you fix it.
Yeah, you don't throw it away, you fix it.
You fix it, and I love that. I love patchwork things, and I love where things that look like I fixed it. You know, it's a beautiful pair of pants, and I loved them. And I wasn't going to get rid of them, so I fixed them. And now there's history with them. So I think that that's also a huge part of my aesthetic, is like patchwork life. Like my whole life is patchwork.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You might hear the, I'm going to choke.
Oh, no, don't choke.
You might hear the landscapers. They're starting to creep up on us.
They're moving in on us.
So we either might move or we might wait them out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, they're just going to get closer and closer to us.
Yeah, I think they are. Let's see, my inspiration. Yeah, I don't know. I go through a lot of phases. My inspiration is the seasons. I'm a very seasonal-based person, seasonal-based practitioner. I like to eat seasonally. I like to dress seasonally. A lot of the colors and like the styles that I wear are all seasonal. So that's why it's like hilarious to me when people make comments where they're like, I can tell you've been working with death because all of your makeup and your clothing's getting super dark now, and it's like, well, yeah, it's winter. Yeah. You know, like, or like it's fall. Same. Yeah. And so it's like, of course, like it's gonna be more death inspired because that's what it is. That's the time. Whereas like spring, like I'm dressed like this, you know. And I really like cute little spring dresses and like lighter makeup, kind of. I don't know. But I'm like, I don't know if this is probably pretty light makeup for me. Nature, like obviously I have my I think a lot of old world style like shaman type of, you know, like I like those things. But I also really like goth culture. Yeah, because like there's some really cool and like, you know, alternative type of culture. I really like that. Yeah. But I think it's seasonal. Seasonal is probably the biggest. Dark academia.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that too. I love doing like forest academia where I'm wearing like something college-y, like professor-esque, but green and with like forest patches, like, or some moss. I keep touching the microphone. I hope it's not.
Yeah, like, I'll have to double check.
So I'm always like grabbing myself when I talk for whatever reason.
You're like, so like.
But yeah, I do. I like those aesthetics as well, like mixing things with fairy tale forest aesthetic. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, he be coming. True. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and then we will come back. I also check the mics. All right. Second time's the charm.
Let's get these questions back. These yowshes. So we were gonna answer the second question
from Marshall. Yeah, so his question is, both you and Mint seem to fall on the A spectrum. Is that something that you bonded over? I don't think so. I mean, maybe like...
I remember talking about it with you before, but...
Yeah, we chat about it when I had you on my channel for an interview. Yeah. But I don't think that it was like something that we were like, oh, no way, and then like became friends over it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. But like, I guess now we kind of bond over it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, we talked a little, like some similar similarities of like experiences and differences and things like that of like where they fall and where I fall and just kind of like that. But yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no.
So kinda, but not really.
Someone has a crush on you.
Somebody has a crush on me.
Oh yeah, and they're like, shut the fuck up. I have a biggest crush on them.
You shouldn't. That's a bad idea.
You're so easy to have a crush on though. Since you're just very congenial and like friendly and like curious, which is like curiosity is like
so sexy.
It's so sexy.
When somebody's a curious person, I'm like, what's going on over there?
What did you wanna ask me?
Do you want to info dump sometime?
Did you want to just like at me? Did you want to Yeah.
I do really love curious people.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Can you talk about how you read tarot/oracle a little bit in depth?
In depth? I don't have a system though. That's the thing, is like it's very there is no system for me. Like I'll pull out the cards and say like I'm doing a reading here. I'll just be like, hey, like are there spirits that want to talk? Like I'm very like open and whatever. And then I'll just start shuffling, and whatever cards like either fall out or ones that for some reason I'm like, I just feel like I'm gonna pull this one. I'll pull that one, and that's my and I'll pull 1, I'll pull 8, like it just I don't really have a system whatsoever.
Something just crawled down my face.
Oh Lord.
Slowly. Well, okay.
They made it a whole deal. They were like,
I do have kind of a system. I definitely read, and you're not like an oracle like person that much. You're not.
I have 2 oracle decks. I don't use. I really don't like oracle.
I used to be so anti-oracle deck. I thought they were so frou-frou, just like lace icing on a cake type of thing.
Oh really?
Yeah. I never used to use oracle, but that has since changed for me. Oh, maybe that was what was crawling down my face.
Hello.
It definitely crawled down my face.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry. You don't. You used to be anti-oracle.
So yeah, I used to be anti-oracle, but I do love cards in general. Like I'm a card collector, so I love like playing card decks, and I love tarot card decks. So I started collecting oracle card decks and finding a lot of value in the messages that they have sometimes as that icing on the cake, as the cards that I pull along with messages that come from tarot. So I usually pull from more than one deck when I'm pulling for anybody. I'll pull like a couple of tarot cards and a couple. It looks like he just grew in size, like over.
I know. I feel like he definitely just grew.
Like he definitely seems way bigger all of a sudden. Like I swear he's bigger.
I swear he got bigger.
I swear to be.
I dropped him and he just like.
And he was
doubled.
like,
yeah.
He like poke evolved or digivolved. I like to pull from multiple decks for everybody. Just to see, where the message is coming from. And I always pull based on the person's energy, like which deck I'm pulling. Like if it's a love reading, I'm pulling from the Aphrodite deck. Or if the person is, in need of love or some sort of sensuality, then I'm pulling from that deck. If the person is in need of some like hard lessons or something like that, then I'm pulling from the Hush Tarot. So it depends on which energy is like coming forward.
Yeah, I think oracles are more intentional, or like I have to have a reason to use that specific oracle, because the only other oracle that I really use, there's the same one from Leela and Olive. There's 2 of them, and that one's very like, I don't know how to explain it. Like that one's just very like mystical feeling for me and very like earth feeling. And then the other one is the Memento Mori. So I only ever use that to speak with spirits of the dead, because that's how the author created it. Like that was the intention. So I bring that one to cemeteries, and if I'm speaking with if I'm speaking with spirits of the dead, like that's the one that I will pull from. But otherwise, like I don't just pull it out just for shits and giggles. Like I use it for a reason. This one person just says in all caps, "How are you so gorgeous? Oh my Lord, Mint."
Wow. Are you flirting with me? Advice for someone who feels disconnected with spirit, like a force is keeping them from grounding.
Force is keeping them from grounding.
Well, I will say off the bat, I don't think that anything can keep you from grounding but yourself. When it comes to any kind of magic or any kind of like energy that you're working with or that someone else is working with or anything, your will must be stronger than the will of someone else's or any other will in order to keep you from actually being affected by it. And your will is stronger. You're a person. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a possible like mental block rather than like a spiritual block. And if there is a spiritual block, then it might just be something that's like, you're not ready for this, or you're not meant for this part. Like I don't think that I don't think anybody in the world is not meant for spirituality. I think it's like, maybe it's that specific path that you're trying to go down. But yeah, it's either a mental block, or maybe it's just spirits being like, go a different direction. That's what I would think. Yeah. Or if you're having trouble like feeling present, like in the here and now, then you've got to block out things that are taking up your mind around you. If you're stressing about a ton of stuff, that is the number one reason why you can't ground. This guy is legitimately... Yeah, how does he keep coming back? Either that, or there's like multiple of them. Yeah. One of the two. Yeah, stress will keep you from grounding, honestly. So release as much stress as possible. Get as much off your mind as possible. Tie up loose ends. Take care of things that you're worried about, or delegate them to other people. And I promise you'll be able to ground. This one's a pretty interesting one. Talk about experience. Mint, Deathwork, and me, Fae work. Okay. So if we swap. Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Do you have a thing, or do you want me to go first? You go first. Okay, so I'm gonna grab something out of your hair. There's like just a little leaf. There we go. Thank you. Me, Fae work. So I don't really work with a Fae. I have friends who do. So I've interacted kind of like, like through them almost. The only thing that I can really think of is like when it's in passing and I'm like visiting. So when I was in Hawaii, like that was really cool because I went on a lot of solo hikes and like a lot of solo expeditions, like just by myself, like up in on the trails and whatnot. And there was like there were multiple points that I'd like stop and be like, I feel like something's like watching me. And I mean, I could see, so it wasn't like an animal. I could see like, like, especially when you're up on the hills. And I think there's a video. I have like a vlog or two from Hawaii. There's a video where I'm talking about the Fae, basically, where I'm just like, oh, I think it's interesting that every culture has something that's super similar about the Fae. Like every culture has something that basically is the Fae, just different terms for it. Yeah. And so as I'm talking, this like leaf or something just like smacks me in the face, and I'm like, oh. It's like, yeah, I was like, oh, I was blessed. But I mean, that's probably like the blessed. That's like the closest thing I think I've ever gotten. Otherwise, yeah, it's like usually just an offering if I feel like they took something from me. But I've watched my friend interact with her like spiel of fairies, and they are rambunctious for sure. I would much rather work with spirits of the dead, or just like spirits like crossroad spirits, or the grungier ones than like Fae, because I feel like trickster. I don't like games. Yeah. I love games. See, and then that makes that, like, I always tell like my ancestors specifically, I'll be like, your girl's dumb. Like I will not. You cannot send me like subtle hints. No, you have to be like, here's the sign or whatever, because otherwise I'll be like, that's just a coincidence. That's just a bottle of soda with my name on it in Espanol. Right, yeah. Be the same thing. Yeah. It's just Olivia. Yeah. I know. But yeah, so I don't really have like anything super in-depth, sorry. Do you have depth work? So I do have some in-depth work because it's been something I've been working on for most of my life. Because I have a phobia, I have a death phobia. And it really got bad when I was in my early teens, mid-teens. So I started working then, and it has been a journey that has just been lasting until now. Because I kept leaving and going back to it, going through therapy, talking to other witches. I was hypnotized several times. Damn. And I've had a lot of experiences with people who are not death doulas, but who work with death, trying to help me to come to grips with dying. And it's just really difficult. It has been difficult. So I'm still on that journey now. And even just like being in the cemetery is a part of that journey, being able to be here without freaking out, which is something that has only been a year. It's been a year since I've been able to do that. Well, happy cemetery not freaking out year. celebration. I don't know. Year mark.
It's been
anniversary. That's the word.
Yeah.
Have you read the book Walking the Twilight Path?
No.
That's like literally about like being comfortable with the idea of death and things like that. So, and there's like a ton of different like journal prompts and like exercises.
That's nice.
So, but do that when you're like ready, because it's a rough book. Like it's there's some things in there that's it's heavy, it's rough. So.
I've done a lot of things. Like I've written. I don't know if I've written a will. I told Jody what I wanted, done with my remains, like as a part of that that shadow work.
That's good.
I did all of those things. I talked to my brother about it and everything like that. And so I've gotten pretty far along, because before I had to completely avoid the subject 100%.
Really?
Yes.
It was that bad?
Yeah. I would have panic attacks, start crying and screaming, and completely outside of myself. Like it was as if I was pushed aside.
Oh, you were dissociating.
And someone, I was hardcore dissociating. And it was just like, death, I'm freaking out.
It's not good.
So and so now it's a lot easier. I can say it and talk about it, and there are things that I can enjoy about that I did before I was so traumatized by it. So it's an ongoing process. Easy thanking spirit daily ritual when you don't have a lot of time in the morning.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is me. I don't have a lot of time ever, because I just don't. Yeah, I'm just like, another project. Yes, let's pick it up. Olivia, please. Trying hard not to do that as much anymore. But I will make a little bit of extra coffee or tea in the mornings and just set it on my altar. And as I set it, I'll just be like, so I have my death altar, so I'll set it on my death altar and just thank you for another beautiful day. Like that type of thing of just I haven't met you yet, but I will, I understand that I'm going to meet you type of thing. Or just little things. So just kind of starting my day.
That's wild.
Starting my day of just I could die today and I'm going to make it a good one type of thing. So I'll set up that. And then my ancestors, usually I just have a clean glass of water for them. And if it starts to, it's usually a couple days, maybe a week. If I'm really busy for some reason, I'll change it out. But it's usually every few days. Some incense, maybe a tarot card pull, but that's if I have a lot of time. If I'm rushing around, it is the tiny little cup of coffee, and it's just thanks, and that's it. It is not intensive whatsoever.
That was so rough. You saying I could die today. Thank you. My eyes filled with tears, and I was
sorry.
No, don't apologize. This is my. I am not afraid of working on this. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of it. I hate having panic attacks. I hate scaring my husband. It sucks.
Yeah, that's scary.
Because I'll just be laying in bed, and I'm like, here I go, going to sleep, and then a voice will be like, you're gonna die, bitch. You're gonna be swirling in the universe forever, gasping for air. That's what my idea of death is for some reason.
Oh my God.
I know.
See, and I'm over here take me. Take me.
And my friends are like that. They're all dying.
But think what if you just become moss?
That would be cool.
And
I think about that too. I'm
what if you just become moss? And you're one of your favorite things.
I know. And so I think about that sort of thing. I'm if I become plants, I'll be so happy. If I become trees, that'd be so wonderful. That'd be so great. And a part of me is yeah. But then at night, when I'm going to sleep, that voice
those
goes,
thoughts come through, and they're just
swirling in space forever, just with every noise in the universe playing in my the sound where every instrument's playing at the same time.
Oh yeah,
that will be the sound of death. That's what, and I don't know why.
So awful.
I know, and that's why I have the natophobia. That's why it's so bad. What was even the question, dog?
Oh, it was. It was just any working with spirit, or basically just working with an altar spirit when you have limited little to no time.
Yeah, I just light an incense stick.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be this big thing. I think people think it has to be this. Oh, there's another little spider. Bye.
Bye.
Wee. It's yeah, I know. Sorry, buddy. I don't think it doesn't have to be intensive. It just work it into things that you already do, because I don't have time. I'm not a ceremonially.
That's
not a word.
That's
ceremonially. I am.
What were we saying?
I am not a ceremonial practitioner. That's what we're gonna end up with.
Okay.
It's not
has
happening.
to be a part of what you're already doing.
It has to be something that I already do. So that's why, like, if you like to cook or bake, like it's
easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
so
put your ingredients in there.
If you like to dance, use that.
Exactly.
You know,
and
like
I do like to dance.
Right. So it's like just add in the things that you already do, because if you're trying to add one extra thing in, it's just not gonna.
Think about gratitude as living, like you're alive, right? And the things that you do to sustain yourself as gratitude. You're keeping your body alive because you're happy that you have a body to keep alive, right? So just be grateful while you're doing those things. Like I dance every morning. I like my incense stick to Kuan Yin.
Oh, that's such a good ritual.
Yeah, and then you heard me, Alexa, play blah, 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 blah. And
I know, we were out there dancing, we're like...
Yeah, and then I dance, you know, while I'm putting my makeup on, I dance because, and I've spoken about this in other videos, like I dance for my ancestors. I dance for the people who are not here. I dance for the people who died for me to be able to be free to dance. That is me showing gratitude in the morning. Yeah. And I'm just putting my makeup on.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you acknowledge those things.
Yeah.
You know, when you're acknowledging and you're like realize. So same thing like with my death practice of like I acknowledge that like I don't know if it's my last day or not, but like I'm happy to be here for the last day or not. You know, like I'm drinking my really good cup of coffee, and that's one of the things. Like I'll set it out and I'll be like, oh, this is a good cup of coffee. You know, like I made it just the way I like it, and I get to sit there and have that first few sips that's just so good in the morning. Yeah. Or like I'll have like a London fog in the morning and I'm like, so good.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, this is such a funny question.
Okay.
This person says, best story from shooting hundreds of beavers.
Shooting hundreds of beavers?
It's the movie I was in. So, okay, well, I have to explain because a lot of people don't know that I'm in this movie.
No.
I've gotten so many new followers that like have no idea like what my content is. Like they'll just
beavers.
Hundreds of beavers.
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 Oh, I thought
the rodent.
Beavers, like Justin Bieber.
No, the wood rodent.
Okay.
Not beavers.
I was like, what? Like, why?
Baby. Oh. Yeah. Experience was just funny because like I just agreed to do it because I was like, I don't know, why not? That sounds funny. The lead, Ryland, the lead in that movie, we worked together in California. And then after we kind of split, we still stayed in contact, and he messaged me and was like, hey, we're shooting this movie and you know, you do taxidermy, you're weird. Like, do you want to be this like character who is like a furrier? So she like skins the beavers that he brings, and she like flirts with him, and then he like flirts back and then like gets him in trouble with her father, and she thinks it's funny. Yeah. So she's just like, oh, like he's flirting with me, and her dad will be like, what the so that's like funny. And he's like, it's your personality, and I was like, thanks. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, yeah. And so I ended up driving out there in I think it was 2020 or 2021. 2021. I drove out to Milwaukee. I shot the film with Ryland, and I was like, I'm not an actress by any means. So he was like, that's fine. Yeah. It's a silent film.
Okay.
So I was like, cool, no lines.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I got a lot of new followers from that, which is hilarious. That's so cool. If you're from that, like, welcome. The rodent movie that I was in, it was fantastic. It was so much
wonderful.
Fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it's just like one of those like really random things that people are like, what? Why are you in this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just thought it would be fun. Like, for no reason. Yeah. I love that. So, yeah, it was freezing. Oh, Ryland and I definitely had a lot of whiskey in our coffees. So
to keep you warm,
which like isn't good for you, but like whatever, it's fine. So we were definitely not totally sober while filming this. Yeah. It was fun though.
It's cold outside.
Yeah. Like... Oh. Actually, they wanted the pole dancing in there, so Ryland and the crew, they rented out a full strip club for me.
That's so great. So you pole dance in the movie?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a really quick. Yeah, it's a really quick. It's like very quick. They rented out a full strip club.
That's awesome.
And I walked in and I was like, okay, for me. And yeah, so they set up a green screen and I pole danced in it. And I couldn't keep the wig on, the like little clip thing, because like whipping my hair around it hurt. So I was like, I'm just gonna have short hair or whatever. Yeah. Then they let me like dance around on stage, and like the security guard played music for me and was like, what do you want? I was like, I'm into it. And then literally that day, I finished dancing, and then I got in my car and I was like, bye, Ryland, and I drove home. Wow. Yeah. So actually, I think I went and visited Nike right after that. Oh, cool. Right before, right after. So it was that road trip when I visited Nike last. Wow. So yeah, that's my story from Hundreds of Beavers. I do think it is premiering on the East Coast right now. So if you can find that, then you do that. Yeah, that's why I was in New York for like 24 hours. They were like, oh, New York Times is doing an article. And I was like,
Tight.
on hundreds of beavers?
Yeah.
Like, this was a movie that I did through like years ago. And I was like, why? Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
What's the backstory of how you, of your friendship? How did you meet?
We met on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's how I meet everybody.
Yeah, I think one of us messaged each other.
Yeah.
And was just like, I like your style. I think actually I was like, can I interview you?
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Yeah.
I think
was
that's
like,
what it was.
yeah.
And then that's it. that's the whole story. And then I was like, can I come visit? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
Favorite thing you've learned from one another? It doesn't have to be witchy.
Oh. Ooh, I mean, this comes back to the first one, I think. The first question, where it's like, I loved your what?
Now I'm dead.
Yeah. I love your creativity and like the way that you view things with no boundaries. I think that's a fantastic trait in somebody, because when you do that, like life becomes so much more fun.
Yeah.
You know what? So have you ever seen the movie Yes Man?
Yes.
You know where she is talking to him and she's like, the world is a playground. And like, we know that when we're kids, and then when we grow up, we forget it.
Yeah.
You are the embodiment of that, of like, the world's a playground. Like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, like, just because there's rules, like they're not actually
real.
rules. Yeah. They're not real. So I love that about you.
Yeah. You don't have to use that fork.
Yeah. Just eat with your hands. Or your feet if you're into that. I don't know.
Okay, well, there are a lot of things that I learned from you while you're here, but one of the things that sticks out to me the most is your boundary setting. Like, that is something that's really important for me to remember to do, because I don't have boundaries usually.
Well, I guess it's to a fault,
like,
huh?
I don't,
Yeah,
and sometimes it does get to a point where I let too many people have too much access to me. And that's something that it does weigh on me, and it weighs on my practice, because I don't have as much time to be present with myself when I'm trying so hard to be present with so many other people. So I think that's something that I definitely took away from you. Like, you know, you have a very like Artemisian energy around you. So I'm like, right, like that's something that I always focus on, is being able to take care of my vessel, my vehicle, and like the spirit inside of it, because it's just important that's like what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that, like, even though I'm having a good time, I'm also taking care.
Yeah. I want to have a good time, but also have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's that Capricorn rising.
Yeah. I'm all like air, fire.
Oh, yeah, I'm all earth fire. I'm like, back the fuck up.
I'm like, come here.
I'm like, no. So that's why I do really love my air signs, because they're just batshit crazy.
Yeah,
I love, because I need to loosen up a little bit with this.
And we need to like chill out a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, it's like they balance each other out. Yeah, the water and air signs, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do with you guys, but like I'm watching you guys bounce off the walls, and I'm like, what? Yeah. I love you, but over there. Yeah. Benta says, why are you both so cute? It's the witchcraft.
Yeah. I always tell people it's the magic. I'm a witch.
I tell that people, when people are like, how do you do this? I'm like, witchcraft, probably. How are you good at dancing? I'm like, witchcraft. Not the 10 years of practice, witchcraft. Ooh, what's your biggest witchy pet peeve? I have a list.
Okay, you go. You go.
And I'm like,
yeah, because I don't really have it.
Let me pull out my
I'll
fucking
probably
clipboard.
remember them when you say yours, so let's hear them.
Mine is lack of nuance. Mine is also a lack of understanding of culture references. The amount of shit talked on blood or animal sacrifice. There's a lot of like racism based in that, and so I hate that, like, if somebody's like, oh, there's animal sacrifice, it's like, why are you acting like that's immediately evil? Like, that's not how that works.
Like, do you not eat animals, dog?
Right. And then if you don't, like, that's another thing is, you see that? I told you I have a list.
Point A, subsection
You want my
B.
fucking bullet points? Okay. No, so this whole idea that if you're a practitioner, you have to be like, oh, like, I'm not going to harm a thing, and I'm so... I don't know, like, just like this weird facade of kindness and of like gentleness, because it's like you cannot have that without the other.
Right.
And so that's why it's like, I love to be kind. I love to be gentle. I love people, but that's another reason why it's like, I do love people, but at a point, and I know where that point is. You might not see me as a kind person if you're trying to get past that point type of thing. And then same deal of like, when people get into death work, it's always like, oh, but death is this beautiful thing, this thing. And it's like, it's not. Nature is not kind and majestic and beautiful and gentle all the time.
Chewing on entrails.
Yeah, and I think that's my biggest pet peeve is when everybody's like, I'm so, like, there's a time and a place for that, and I love it. But it's not always like that.
It's not always like that.
What's your pet peeve? I just went on a whole fucking rant.
Okay. I have one pet peeve.
You only have one?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
It's judgmental witches.
As I went, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point.
Well, you know,
and you're like side-eyeing me, you're like,
no. See, here's the thing. It's not even when you engage with the community and there are things that you have pet peeves about, it's because you are a part of something where multiple opinions are coming up, and so you know what your stance is. And I know what my stance would be if I were part of this. I'm not really a part of the community. It's so much so that I have pet peeves about what people are doing.
That's fair.
I don't even notice what people are doing because I'm literally.
Well, that's why I left.
That's why I'm.
That's why I don't do it as much. Yeah.
I'm so disconnected. Like people would be like, "Oh, you were nominated for an award for so and so," and I'm like, "From who?"
Same. Yeah, I was
for
like,
what?
I did.
One what? No one told me. Like I'm not. No one talks to me.
I'm just trying to make pretty videos.
I'm just vibing over here, having a good time. And the only thing I have a pet peeve is when people are super judgmental and they tell people like, "Oh, you can't do this, or you should do this, or you shouldn't do this, or don't listen to this person, don't read this book, these books, blah 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 blah." Like, do whatever you want. This is your path. Mess up, make mistakes, be stupid, learn though. Like, educate yourself about everything that you're doing for your own good, so that you're doing it in a way that feels good for you. Don't judge other people's paths. It's not yours, dog. Mind your business.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Like,
no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And especially, oh my God, and it's all online. It's always all online because it's like, you have no idea where this person comes from, what their background is, what their knowledge is, who their mentors are. Yeah. Like, you have no idea.
No clue.
There are so many things that I do not put on the internet. And it's like, I mean, of course people are going to make assumptions, but it's like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Really anything about the person online, and so it's like you don't really have a stance to make those judgments. Don't.
And like, of course you can, and you're going to, you know, whatever.
But also, like, why are you gonna make those? Like, why are you gonna sit there and like,
like be judgy?
The frog.
You can do literally anything else, dog. Like, you can do anything else besides
go read a book
from being a bully. Literally, like all you're doing is showing people that you've got enough time to be worried about them.
That's true.
And like, I ain't got that time.
You're a fan.
I ain't got that time.
That's true.
I got other stuff to do.
Benta coming out with those spicy questions.
Yeah.
In what ways are your practices similar and different from each other?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
So I think our practices are similar in that we are both very like, we do what we do. And we're not structured in a way where we are following like someone else's rules or someone else's like guidelines. We're just like, we've learned enough to feel comfortable in our own practices.
I agree with that.
And I think that that's really, I think that for a lot of people that's unique because people are always trying to find more tools or more this, or I need to attain these things to reach this level. And it's like, we are comfortable with what we're doing and we know what we want more of. I think that that's, like, our paths are pretty like, we're comfortable. We're comfortable witches. You know, we have our own security
flow.
In our path.
I think I would assume that both of us are pretty seasonal as well.
That's very true.
Because I think I'm like a lot, if not almost all of my practice is seasonal based.
So is mine. Yeah.
So I think that's another similarity. What do you think our differences are?
Well, I think the differences are I work with life.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, like we do have that like complete opposite.
Yeah, it's complete opposite. I'm a sun witch. You know, I work with
you
life.
are a sun witch, and I'm just like, I hate the sun. Keep me out of it.
Yeah, and I don't like to be in it, but I like to look at it. I like to see her.
Yeah, that little frog reaching to the sun in your bathroom.
I know.
I'm not thinking of B-roll of that and put that in because I'm like, it's like the cutest.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like when the sun is out, I'm like alive. I want to work with the plants. I like bring out my measuring tape and measure how much the little grass and stuff has grown outside. Like, ooh, look at you, little piece of moss, you know? So I think that's probably the biggest difference is that I work with life more than death. Which I guess is kind of like the same thing. They are.
Yeah, I was
one
gonna
and the
say, I
same.
was like, I mean, they're like, I think because I work with death, I have a lot of life in my practice, which is like
and
very
because I work
odd.
with life, I have a lot of death in my
But
practice.
I mean, even tool wise, like I think like the things that you use are all life based. Like, whereas I will literally use like dead things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you do that at all, but
I have not,
No.
not since I was a teenager.
Okay.
Have I used any kind of dead things in my practice?
Yeah, I think there's that, and then I mean, you're maximalist. Love,
Howl's Moving Castle.
It's like a wizard home. I got so excited. I did, but I think also like I travel so much that I had to learn how to basically work with almost nothing. So like my talismans are like I have like 4 things that's like those are my things, or like my deck of cards, or like, you know, so I don't have like options almost, but I've almost curated it so much to like where that's okay for me, and like that my practice does just go with me. Whereas like I love that you have like all, like you have so many tarot decks,
I know,
and like oracle decks and all these things, and like all the stones on your wall, and it's just so cool. So but it's like cool because then you can just, you have that opportunity of like, oh, I'm going to create this spell, and like which one should I use, and you get to like have like this library, this archive. Another little ant, I'm gonna get in. Excuse me. Yeah, so I think that's another like difference.
That's true.
It's just like the items that we use or don't use.
Yeah. What's one form of magic you won't try, or a spell that you'll never do?
I don't know.
I don't know either, because I don't think that there's something I wouldn't try unless it was like had to do with my soul. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like, I'm pretty down, dog. Yeah, I'm not.
Well,
too
I mean, like, what about like a death spell?
I would totally do a death spell.
Like to kill somebody?
Oh, to kill somebody! Yeah, no.
you said yeah.
No. Okay, so yeah, I would not harm another person.
Right. Yeah. So like, I don't really fuck with love spells either.
Oh, I don't fuck with that. No.
The thing is like, if you do, then like you do. But like, it's more of because that's too much effort, and I don't
exactly.
Like, that's why I'm like, that's the only reason. Not, I mean, moral wise, like I agree. Like you really shouldn't be fucking with other people.
I don't be messing with other people. Man. I don't be messing with no one.
I have different like philosophies on how love spells work and all that stuff, but that's for a separate conversation.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna want to talk about all of this stuff. I just want to like talk about it. It's just fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. Yeah. I don't do a shit ton of spells. Like I like charms more than spells, because charms attract or push away, whereas like spells almost feel like heavy, like more heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed enough to the point where like I don't need that anymore as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And so like, and if I do, it's more of like a boost to something, and not like this desperation of like, fuck, I need finances, because like, man, when I was there, like, you know, I need a home, or like I need I need food, or I need to make sure that I can pay pay my bill and not get evicted. Like, you know, I'm lucky to not be there anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't do spells as much as I used to. Whereas like love spells, you know, I'm not over here being like, love me. Like I don't really like anybody
don't need that.
like that.
Yeah.
For the most part. And if I do, like, I'm gonna just flirt a little bit.
Desperation. Yeah. I don't do anything out of desperation. I don't do any magic out of desperation. That lady.
I definitely have.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely have. And would totally still do it. But
I did one spell out of desperation, but not for myself. I think it was for somebody else. But it was like, oh my gosh, this needs to happen for them, or it's gonna affect everyone. But no, I mean, there are lots of things that I'm willing to try or be a party to.
Same.
Or maybe like chill out and watch, or like learn about. I'm a forever curious pixie. I want to know all the things.
Yeah.
So I don't mess with other people. I'm not going to try to do anything to anyone else, because I don't want anyone doing anything to me or attempting to do something to me.
My personal philosophy is like, if you wouldn't do it without magic, you shouldn't be doing it with magic.
Yeah.
So like if somebody's like, I'm going to cast a spell for this person to break their leg, like unless you are willing to go to that person and snap their leg yourself, do not, you know, like that's a cowardice thing to do. Be like, oh, I'm going to cast this little spell and hope that they break their leg. It's like, if you're not willing to walk up in there with a crowbar yourself, and like you should not be doing that, because
and it takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy.
And like not just like energy, like you have to want to go to this person's house and get something of theirs to do this. Are you willing to do that? Especially I think about that all the time when people are like, someone is blocking me from doing this, and I'm like, did someone come to your house and take something of yours and then take it back to their house and take something of themselves and mix it with this thing of yours and then take this nail and
like somebody has to, like they have to really have it out for
really
you.
Want to hurt
Which is
you.
why I'm like, most of the time you're not hexed or cursed. Yes, you probably have like evil eye or like, you know, like some negative energy attached or whatever, and then you accumulate it. But it's most of the time, it's not that.
It's you piling up choices that were not so good. And
you're not taking accountability.
Consequences are their own kind of curse.
What is it? Denial is a river in Egypt.
I love this bracelet that you got.
Thank you. I'll have to show it off. It's something that I'm going to dedicate to death, actually, because it's got the little skulls on it, and I think it has a lot of. I'm not really much of a crystal person, so I'll have to. Maybe like you can help me. I know there's like howlite.
It's got a howlite. It looks like the Dalmatian jasper or zebra jasper.
I have no idea. Obsidian. I don't know. Smoky quartz maybe, but like a lot of these look like crystals that are used in a lot of death work. So I think I might just like make it like a protective bracelet that is based around death.
That's actually great. One of the questions was like an easy protection ritual.
I mean, I love jewelry. So again, I'm just working this into something that I already do. I wear jewelry. I love jewelry. You can take 3 minutes and put up put up a shield, and like I always say, try different visualizations. Like sometimes try glass, sometimes try steel, sometimes try like a whirlwind of air, or like it all, people react different to them.
And if you're not a visual person, if you can't visualize, draw it or write your name in a protective bubble, like create something that you can look at that represents you being protected. You know what I mean?
Or even like using a wand or a stick or a broom. You can just draw it around you in the morning. I've always been curious of like charging your shampoo or something. Like, could you charge your shampoo?
You can charge your shampoo
or your soap
or your brush.
And
one of my friends.
your brush. That's a good idea.
Barbara. She put shungite in a brush.
And
she was like brushing it out. Like that, or even just using the shungite stone and just like running it along her hair, and I was like, ooh, that's a lovely protection.
That's a really good idea. So I mean, things that you already do. It's more of just kind of seeing it in a magical way instead of just like, I brush my hair. It's like, well, you're already doing that, or you think about like body parts.
Magic in the mundane. There's so much magic.
Baths, showers, all those things.
Even just a crystal above your threshold, like as you're walking up,
what up, bro?
And then and go out. It's very easy to integrate.
Have my back.
Seriously.
That's a great question.
Actually,
my friend Matthew always asks a really dumb question. Thank you, Matthew. How many pineapple can you eat at once?
I cannot eat pineapple. I am allergic.
So 0. That's like most of the questions. But that was a really good Q&A. And it was really nice to like meet Mint in person and hang out. And I think I really liked the fact that we're hanging out in like a cemetery, even though I don't know if the lighting will be good or not. Hopefully it will be. It's just sunny out, and it's hard to film when it's sunny.
It's just a beautiful day though.
It is really beautiful. I liked that we filmed in the cemetery in the east in the spring, because it's funny, because again, it's like that back and forth of like this beautiful, like everything is like bursting of life and blooming and green, and then we're in a place of death, so it's kind of like it matches for both of us.
It really does.
Thanks for hanging out with me and doing the Q&A. Hopefully I'll get to come out and visit, or you can visit me.
I definitely want to, for sure.
You totally should. Thanks for watching. Definitely check out Mint's channel and all of their like, I'll put like a link tree or something in the description, and also up here, I think it's that way, is you can click on a little thingy and it'll come down and it'll have information for Mint. So thanks for watching, and as always, best of luck, be kind to each other, and may your gods treat you as you've treated others.
Bam.
Bye. put my feet away. Can't put those money makers online.
No way, dude.